y'all need to put some respect on Tyler Herro's name.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome, Tyler. Now, I'm not saying he's better than Tyrese Maxey, but let's not act like the dude is trash. I mean, the kid is 23 years old. Can I call him a kid? Wow. Yeah, Tyler Herro's younger than me. He's 2 years younger than me. Damn, I'm old. Anyways, the kid is 23 years old, averaged 20 points per game twice, proved that he's not afraid of the big moment. Let's not act like the guy is trash, okay? That's all I want to say. Of course, he has his flaws on the defensive side, but the dude is not some scrub. He does have some value in this league. And there's been a lot of reports of late of several teams being interested in him. The teams that we're going to get into today is the Toronto Raptors, the Utah Jazz, the San Antonio Spurs, and the Brooklyn Nets. Some of the reporting is saying that teams may be willing to give up to 2 first-round picks for him. And for anybody that may be commenting saying, oh, if Tyler Herro has all this value, why hasn't a deal been done yet? Well, the other reporting has been that the Blazers seem unwilling to negotiate at this moment. Again, I don't know if that's true. I'm not on the phone with Joe Cronin. I'm not talking to Pat Riley, so I don't know exactly what the deal is. Plus, who knows how accurate reporting is nowadays. If y'all saw my Adrian Wojnarowski video from yesterday, you know that I'm basically saying that he's a puppet for the Portland Trailblazers. I had someone comment and say, oh, well, aren't I being a puppet for the Miami Heat? So what's wrong with what Woj is doing? And I basically responded saying that his logic is flawed. This is a Miami Heat channel. For the most part, I'm catering to my main audience, which is Heat fans. So I am clearly biased and coming from a Heat perspective. While with Wojnarowski, people look at him as an unbiased source. He's a proclaimed unbiased reporter. What he says is supposed to be fact. So the fact that he's able to say things and manipulate the actual narrative just to fit his friendships and make his friends happy is a problem, because people are looking to him for real advice. And when he's saying stuff just to fit his narrative, that's where the problem is. There's nothing wrong with being biased reporting. I cater to Heat fans. Heat fans come to me because they like my aspect of things. Woj is supposed to be unbiased in the spot that he's in. That's just my opinion with that. But anyways, let's get into these trades. The first one I want to get into is with the Toronto Raptors. And the first thing I should say, before I have 100 Heat fans coming to me in the comments, I understand that Jaime Jaquez cannot be traded for another week. He can officially be traded on July 31st because that will be 30 days after he signed his rookie deal. Now, the teams, the Blazers and the Heat, could actually verbally agree to terms today, but it just wouldn't be official for another week. But at this point, the Heat might as well wait another week if that's one of the guys they want to trade. So, of course, in all the trades, I have the Heat getting Damian Lillard. I also have what I'm calling the inevitable aspect of this, is the OKC Thunder part. Essentially, Miami can unlock another first-round pick by doing a trade with the Thunder in which they get their own first-round pick back, and because of the step-in rule, they now have 3 first-round picks to trade. There's other ways they can do that, basically by amending protections, but the only person that understands all those rules is Andy Ellisberg, and I am not him. So I don't understand all that. But basically, just so you know, there will be some maneuver with OKC in which will allow Miami to trade up to 3 first-round picks. Now, in this case, I have Miami sending them a second-round pick to incentivize the Thunder. Some people may say, oh, why would the Thunder do this just for a second-round pick? Listen, they're netting a second-round pick for nothing. And if you know Sam Presti, you know the man loves to hoard the draft picks. He's not saying no to this. So aside from the Heat getting Damian Lillard, I also have them getting Jusuf Nurkic, which is a positive for the Trailblazers. I know some Blazers fans don't want to hear this. Jusuf Nurkic is a negative asset at this point. He gets paid too much money and for too many years for a big man that can't stay healthy. I don't care if he's your only good big. I don't care if he's healthy now and he's going to have some great comeback season. The Trailblazers are not in a win-now mode. They are trying to rebuild, and Jusuf Nurkic is not part of that build. Losing him should be considered an asset, because typically the Blazers would have to attach a first-round pick to get rid of his contract, and that's not happening in these scenarios. I also have the Heat getting Thaddeus Young from the Raptors, a guy that I've wanted for years, a little bit on the older side now, but hey, maybe he could play on a role on this team as a power forward, backup power forward. And if he turns out to be not great, he's an expiring deal, so it's not all that bad for Miami. The Raptors, I have them sending out OG Anunoby and Christian Koloko, and in turn receiving Tyler Herro and a first-round pick. I think that is a fair trade for them. Anunoby and Tyler Herro are both very nice young players, and Anunoby, you may say, is a little bit better, but hey, the Raptors are also getting a first-round pick here. Now, if the Raptors are in full rebuild mode, then hey, maybe they end up trading Siakam in some other deal down the line and start fresh, just because Tyler Herro is younger than Anunoby. So if that's the route that they decide to go, I do think this is a nice start for them. Now, the Trailblazers, they would be acquiring Kyle Lowry's expiring, who, hey, maybe they waive him, or maybe he's a great mentor for Scoot Henderson. I think that's something that should not be lost. I mean, Kyle Lowry's a vet with a lot of experience. I think that is a guy that you might want on this really young roster that they have. So let's not act like he's worthless there either. They're, of course, getting Anunoby, who, while he's a little older than Tyler Herro, he's still young, and he plays a position of need for the Blazers. That's something that they're obviously still concerned about too. And he'd be a perfect fit. Next to the guards they got over there with Simmons and Shart and Scoot, he would be perfect just because of his ability to stretch the floor, but also be a 1 through 4 switchy defender. He would be awesome there. Then I also have them getting Miami's 2 young guys, Jaquez and Jovic, who Heat fans are not going to like. But I'm going to have to stop the video real quick. I just saw that you are not subscribed yet. What's that about? No, but for real, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button. It really, really helps me out a lot. I greatly appreciate it. Now let's get back to the video. I think it may have to get done. Ideally, I said if the Heat can keep 2 of Jovic, Jaime, and Caleb, I'd be happy. But I would be willing to trade 2 of those 3. And I think Miami would be more willing to give up those young guys. And then, of course, I also have them getting 2 first-round picks. Now, I know the Blazers want more picks, but because Anunoby's a little bit of a better player than we've heard talked about for them, they might have to sacrifice some of the actual draft capital. But for Anunoby, I think it will be worth it. Moving on to the Brooklyn Nets trade, I have the Heat once again getting Dame and Jusuf Nurkic. And this time, the Trailblazers get Ben Simmons from the Brooklyn Nets, along with 4 first-round picks and Jaime and Jovic. Ben Simmons has been a very controversial player over the last few years. I do believe that the Brooklyn Nets would have to attach a first-round pick to get rid of him, and that's exactly what they did in this case. And of course, they're getting Tyler Herro. So for them, I think it's a no-brainer. They're getting rid of the Ben Simmons contract and getting Tyler Herro, but only losing 1 first-round pick. Now, from the Trailblazers side, you might say, hey, I want another pick from the Nets because I'm taking on Ben's bad contract. But maybe they believe in Ben. I do think Ben has a lot of potential still because he's still very young and he was already a 3-time All-Star. Let's not let that fact slip our minds. But also, the Brooklyn media is probably the worst place for Ben Simmons to be. Obviously, he's been very public about his mental issues and everything like that. I don't want to speculate or nothing like that, but we know the New York market. It doesn't seem on paper like that would be a good fit for Ben Simmons, and maybe that's why he struggled a lot last year. Of course, he also had a back injury. That's probably the most important thing, but it does appear that he's healthy. So if he can bounce back with the Portland Trailblazers, that is an amazing asset to get for them. So if they're able to get him, 2 very promising young rookies, or obviously Jovic is not a rookie, but 2 promising very young guys from Miami Heat and 4 first-round picks, I do believe we're talking more than enough fair value for the Trailblazers. And of course, on the Nets side, still a no-brainer for me. They'd be able to fill the starting lineup of Spencer Dinwiddie, Tyler Herro, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and Nick Claxton. Get Dorian Finney-Smith off the bench. That's a very, very solid lineup for them. And I think Tyler Herro is a guy that they can build with going forward in the future. I tried to get Dorian Finney-Smith to the Heat because I would love him on this Heat roster. Boy, would I love him, but I did that in another video a few weeks ago, and Nets fans got all mad at me. Apparently, Finney-Smith is untouchable, I guess. I don't know. Moving on to the San Antonio Spurs, this one I made a 5-team trade. So in addition to Nurkic and Lillard, I also have the Heat getting Doug McDermott, who I think they'll need. The Heat are sending out a lot of players in this trade. They're going to need some depth, and I think Dougie is Dougie McBuckets. I'll never forget that nickname. I remember when he was drafted, he went to the Bulls, and that's back when the Bulls had the great defense and needed some scoring, and I was shook. But obviously, Doug just turned into kind of an average to sub-average player. But I still think off Miami's bench, he'd be able to play a role. He's still a capable NBA player. So I do like the fact that they're also able to get him in this trade. Now, a little bit different on the Portland side, I have them getting Duncan Robinson, who I also look at as a negative asset, to be honest. He was awesome in the finals, most of the playoffs last year. That being said, he was still DNP, coach's decision, majority of last season. And for a guy that's on a 5-year, $90 million deal with 3 years left, I think that's a negative asset at this point. Now, he could still turn it around. Maybe he starts the regular season next year the way he ended the finals, which is a very, very good player, but he still gets paid a ton of money. Now, because of that, I do have them getting an extra first-round pick, this time from the San Antonio Spurs, so they would be getting 5 total first-round picks, in addition to Jaime, in addition to Jovic, and then, of course, Lowry and Duncan. The San Antonio Spurs would be getting Tyler Herro. They'd be sending out those 2 first-round picks, Doug McDermott and Devontae Graham. Now, if a team is willing to go up to 2 first-round picks, the Spurs may be a team that can do it. They're not really losing any other valuable pieces. Obviously, Doug and Devontae Graham were just okay for them last year, but nobody's looking at those guys as building blocks for the Spurs, whereas Tyler Herro, I think his fit next to Keldon Johnson and Vic Wembanyama, that could be nice for many, many years to come. So I do like that trade for the Spurs as well. And the Hornets, they basically just needed them to take on some salary here because they're obviously sending nobody out in this trade. They're absorbing Devontae Graham's contract. They're getting a second-round pick from the Spurs to incentivize them. And hey, Devontae Graham had the best years of his career in Charlotte. Maybe he's a guy that can contribute there too, especially outside of LaMelo and Terry Rozier. They are lacking guard depth severely. So I think they might actually use Devontae Graham as well. And they're getting a second-round pick too. Moving on to the final trade I got here is with the Utah Jazz. The Heat will be getting Damian Lillard, and I decided this time to let Nurkic stay on the Trailblazers, and of course because of that, the Heat are keeping Duncan in this trade as well. But they are getting Colin Sexton from the Jazz. Now, the Jazz will be acquiring Tyler Herro, and they'd be sending out 2 firsts, just like the Spurs in the last trade, Kelly Olynyk and Colin Sexton. Just on the Heat perspective real quick, Colin Sexton would be awesome here. He's a guy I've loved for many years, ever since the high school clip where the dude was staring him down and Colin Sexton got right in his face and just started staring back. I thought it was hilarious. When Colin Sexton was with Alabama, he almost beat the opposing team 5-on-4, the one game when everyone fouled out, and I had a ton of respect from him since then. Had some very solid, couple years in Cleveland, he was very good. Had some injuries, got a big deal because of that. He's not looked at as good as an asset as he once was, but I do think he's a guy that could really turn his career around, particularly in the Heat system where they have a strong emphasis on tenacity and defensive, just defensive-minded players. I think he'd be awesome here. And we still would need a backup point guard. I'd love to get him here. Now, he is on a 3-year deal, getting paid $17 million a year. That's a lot of money. So maybe that's looked at as more of a negative asset. So the Heat are kind of helping Utah out there as well. Now we'll jump to the Jazz then. They're getting Tyler Herro. I said that. Yeah, in addition to that, they're sending out the 2 first-round picks. So 2 first-round picks might be a lot for Tyler. It might be. Now, the Jazz, maybe it's not a lot for them because they got 1,000 first-round picks in the Rudy Gobert trade. But some of the reports said teams might be willing to give up 2. So the Jazz are another team that I think might do that. And then they have a pretty decent starting lineup that would include John Collins, Markkanen, and Tyler Herro. 3 guys who I think their games could complement each other very well. You obviously they can pretty much all play off ball. They're all capable shooters off the ball. And of course, Tyler Herro can ball handle. He's improved his pick and roll game a lot. Even his pick and pop with Bam's midi shot. So that's something that he would do with Lauri Markkanen, of course. So I think his fit there would be very, very nice. And Kelly Olynyk, he was good for them too, but he's over 30 years old, I believe. He doesn't really fit their timeline. Now, the Trailblazers, they're still getting Lowry, Jovic, and Jaime. They're still getting 5 first-round picks, just like they were in the last deal with the Spurs. And Kelly Olynyk is expiring, so it's kind of irrelevant there. So I think these are very, very fair trades for the Trailblazers. There's typically in these videos a lot of Trailblazers fans in my comments that don't seem too happy with the package they're getting, and they don't quite understand the concept of leverage. And I'm not gonna get into it, but they're all saying, "Oh, he's under contract 4 more years. If this is the deal, just keep him." It don't work like that. Okay, I have plenty of videos about that. I might get into it again later, but this video I won't. But I feel like these trades are more fair. So if you're a Trailblazers fan, let me know down below. If you're a Heat fan, let me know which one of the trades you like the best. And if you're a fan of any of these other teams, let me know if you would do these trades for Tyler Herro. If you're just an NBA fan, then welcome. Subscribe to the channel, man. I try to talk about all things NBA too because I am a basketball fan at heart. But that's all I got for this video, man. I see I'm realizing I'm wearing the Inter Miami FC shirt. That was the first ever Inter Miami game I watched yesterday with the Messi game in it. It was chef's kiss, beautiful. I don't know if that makes me a bandwagon fan. I don't think so, because I root for all Miami teams. So I was going to root for them regardless. I just wasn't watching until Messi got there. But anyways, that's all I got for this video. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, because that will help many other people see this video, and that is greatly appreciated, my V. But that's all I got for this video. I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.
Look, pull up in your city, tryna get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need a head space. You know this homegrown bitch don't offend me.